For water safety level 3, you need to learn all 12 of the water safety rules.
Rule 1, always have an adult with you. An adult is able to respond quickly and effectively in an emergency situation. Rule 2, only swim in safe areas. If you're on the beach, only swim where there are lifeguards present, and make sure you swim in between the red and the yellow flags. If you're in other areas like a swimming pool, do check that there are lifeguards present, and if you're at a strange beach or dam, make sure there are no rocks before you go jumping in. Rule number 3, know your limits. Don't show off. Know your abilities. Don't swim if the waves are too big, and if there are strong rip currents, stay out. If you are not a good swimmer, try not go too deep. Rule number 4, never swim or surf alone. Always go swimming and surfing with someone. If something happens to you, you've got someone there who can help you. And rule number 5, if in doubt, stay out. Make sure you know the conditions before jumping into any water. Check for rocks or hidden objects and rip currents. If there are no lifeguards on duty, stay out.
Rule number 6, always use correct and safe equipment. For instance, if it's cold, use a wetsuit, but make sure that it fits correctly. Use a board, so a bodyboard or a surfboard with handles and a leash. Use flippers when you're swimming or paddling in a strong current. Rule number 7 is a very important rule. It's being aware of currents. At the beach, you want to be aware of rip currents. A rip current is when water is flowing from the beach back out to sea. And there's certain ways that you could know what a rip current looks like. There's some identifying features. There's a list in the manual. Some of the features are that you'll see some calm patches of water in where the waves are, in the surf, with waves breaking on either side of these calm patches. Another feature is that the rip current, the water is deeper, so the color of the water is a little bit darker. So oftentimes rip currents are ripple, and there's some crisscross water on the surface of the rip current. A rip current is often a different color water to the water with the waves on the side, and often there's stuff floating in the rip current. And then many times rip current is a foamy surface on the top of the rip current that extends or that's going out to sea. When you are caught in the rip current, very important that you don't want to try and fight that current. You want to swim parallel to the beach. Go with the current and then swim parallel to the beach across the rip current to get out of the current into the breaking waves, and then use the breaking waves to push yourself back to shore. Don't try and swim against the rip current. Along piers or beaches or rocky sections, you'll often find rip currents. So if there's an edge of a beach, that's where you're going to find rip currents, or if there's a pier or a rocky groin or something like that, that's where you're going to find rip currents on the side of those patches of structures. Sometimes you might be in a river current, and it's important that if you are caught in a river that's flowing very fast, you want to float down the river with your feet first. So have your feet on the surface of the water and float down the river with your feet first. And then if you want to get back to shore, don't try and swim against the current, swim with and across the current to where the water is a little bit shallower and the flow has slowed down. Rule number 8, consider other people. You don't want to go surfing where there's people swimming. Consider those people. If you fall off your surfboard or your board, your Malibu, you might hit those people, so consider those people if you are on a board. Also, if you are swimming, keep an eye out for board riders, people that are on boards or on equipment. Be considerate when you are out in the water and swimming or paddling your board. Rule number 9 is don't swim or surf when you're tired or when you're cold. Sometimes if you're swimming, if you're cold or you're tired, you could get cramps and it'll make it difficult to get out of the water. So don't swim when you're tired or you're cold. Rule number 10, listen to the lifeguards. Lifeguards know what they're talking about. They are there to keep you safe in the water. So you want to listen to the advice from the lifeguards. They stop people that could get into trouble from getting into trouble, and they have specifically set out a beach for you to go and swim at. So always listen to the lifeguards. Rule number 11 is an important rule. Don't swim at night. Do not swim at night. It's difficult to see you if you get into trouble at night. And also you can't see any dangers in the water. Only if it's really safe, like at a pool where there's lots of light or there's people around and it's actually made to swim at night, can you swim at night. Not a good idea to swim at night in places where it wasn't made to swim at night. The last rule is that you should keep all containers of water, and when I say container I mean like water tanks or swimming pools or anything that has water in it, big bodies of water, keep them covered. If you're not using them, make sure you've got a cover over the water so that if somebody falls in, they're not going to get into trouble.